If your mind clings to trash, life grows heavy and cramped. If your mind chooses what is worthy, life breathes again, lighter, clearer, freer. Our days are shaped by our thoughts. And true freedom rarely comes from adding more, it comes from cutting away. From letting go, from stripping off the layers that no longer serve the person you're becoming. Welcome to Stoicism Drive. In this video, we'll walk through 12 things you must quietly remove from your life. No announcements, no grand gestures, no performative, "I'm changing" speeches. Just release them, quietly, and watch how everything else begins to rearrange itself. Stay with me to the very end, because the last one looks harmless, almost friendly, yet it's the most dangerous of all, softly undermining your focus and stealing your years one comfortable minute at a time. 1. Stop explaining yourself to the one who betrayed you. Think back to the last time you were betrayed. A friend who shared a secret. A colleague who undercut you. A partner who walked away. The wound was fresh, and your first impulse was to explain, justify, prove you didn't deserve the hurt. But that impulse is a trap. Every sentence you speak to the betrayer becomes a chain. A tether that pulls you back into contaminated ground. Have you noticed how endless explanations rarely repair trust? They simply give the other person more of your time, your focus, your energy, the very things they didn't safeguard. There's a quiet power in refusing to plead your case. When you step away from the courtroom of their opinion, you step back into your own life. Quiet boundaries often speak louder than 1,000 polished arguments. You don't need to convince the betrayer of your worth. You need to protect your worth from the betrayer. Let your no be clean and firm. Let your actions, not your speeches, carry your value forward. Move on, rebuild, and allow your future to testify to your strength. Practice. When you feel the urge to explain, pause, breathe, replace the explanation with a boundary. "We're done. That chapter is closed. I'm not discussing this." Then walk, don't negotiate, toward your next commitment. 2. Eliminate goals that no longer matter. This is a subtle prison. We set goals in old seasons, titles, incomes, images, destinations that made sense back then. Then life moves, and we grow, but the goal stays. Ossified, a fossil from an earlier version of you. What once was inspiring can turn into a chain when your heart no longer wants it. You can achieve the dream and still feel caged if the dream is outdated. It's not that you have too little time, it's that you spend precious hours funding goals that no longer fit the person you've become. Ask yourself, if I were starting from zero today, would I choose this? If the answer is no, the courage now is not to push harder, it's to let go faster. We admire people who pivot because they remind us that life is allowed to change shape. A prestigious path that empties you is still a detour. A modest path that enlivens you is a homecoming. Not every goal deserves to survive your growth. Some should be thanked, retired, and buried with respect. Practice. Make 2 lists, fossil goals and living goals. Fossils are kept alive by pressure or pride. Living goals energize your mornings. Keep what's alive, release what's dead, then say it with me. I choose freedom, not chains. And if you want ongoing tools to cut the excess and live lighter, subscribe to Stoicism Drive. Every episode is a map back to what matters. 3. Stop broadcasting your breakup. After a breakup, the urge to explain is strong. You want to defend your side, prove your intentions, tidy up your image with carefully curated details. But each story you share is another brick in the prison of the past. Most people aren't listening to heal you. They're listening because stories are entertaining. You become a show, and your pain becomes the script. Keeping your dignity is a quiet art. The person who can end a chapter without turning their private life into public spectacle is stronger than the one who wins the comment section. Silence is not weakness, it's self-respect. When you stop feeding the echo chamber, the echoes fade. Your future needs oxygen. Don't suffocate it with yesterday's drama. Practice. Pick one trusted confidant for your healing conversations. For everyone else, keep it simple. We're no longer together. I wish them well. Then invest your words in today's work and tomorrow's joy. 4. Master your anger in public. We've all seen it. A voice rises in a meeting. Hands slam the table, faces go crimson. In that moment, the room doesn't see passion, it sees loss of control. The loudest person rarely commands the most respect, the calmest one does. Composure is not passivity, composure is precision. It's the discipline to choose your response when your emotions are trying to choose it for you. Anger burns the one who carries it. It scorches your reputation long before it singes your opponent. But a steady tone, measured words, and stillness in your posture signal something rarer than rage: mastery. Calm is not the absence of power, calm is power under control. Practice. Build a 3-step protocol. Pause for 1 full breath. Lower your voice by 1 notch. Shorten your sentence by half. Then speak only what moves the discussion forward. You'll be astonished how quickly the room orients toward you. 5. Stop speaking behind people's backs. When you hear someone shred another person's character, what's the first thought that crosses your mind? If they talk this way about them, what do they say about me when I'm gone? Exactly. Gossip buys 5 minutes of attention at the cost of 5 years of credibility. Malice is boomerang-shaped. You throw it, it circles back, and it hits your reputation first. Words are seeds. Plant contempt, harvest isolation. Plant respect, harvest trust. The person who guards their tongue becomes the person others trust with their truth. The one who builds others, especially in their absence, becomes the quiet center of every room. Practice. Adopt a simple rule: praise in public, correct in private. Refuse to speculate. If a conversation turns into a whisper circle, smile, change the subject, or excuse yourself. Your silence will speak louder than any clever remark. 6. Stop comparing yourself to others. Imagine running a race while staring sideways. You drift, you stumble, you fall. The same happens on your feed. A classmate buys a home. A colleague lands a promotion. An acquaintance posts an achievement reel, and suddenly you feel behind in your own story. Comparison is a silent toxin. It steals joy by convincing you that your path must look like theirs to be worthy. But your life is not a commodity to be measured against someone else's highlight reel. You are training for a different marathon, under different weather, with different terrain. Someone may outshine you in one arena, but they can't outshine your story, your specific lessons, scars, and strengths. Progress looks messy up close. Keep your eyes on your finish line. Practice. Limit sideways glances. For every minute you scroll, invest 2 in your craft. Keep a private, done list that tracks real wins, completed workouts, pages written, calls made, habits kept. Compare yourself to who you were last month, not to a stranger online. 7. Eliminate mindless scrolling. We live in an age where people post the top 1% of their lives. You compare it to the unedited 100% of yours. You pick up your phone for a minute, and the night evaporates. The dopamine drip keeps you hungry, never full. You're left overstimulated, underfulfilled, and quietly resentful of a life that looks dull next to a carousel of highlight moments. Social platforms are tools, scalpels, not slot machines. In skilled hands, they can teach, connect, inspire. In careless hands, they nick your focus, slice your sleep, and leak your self-worth. The trick isn't to demonize the tool, it's to discipline the user. Practice. Set intentional gates, time-boxed sessions with a written purpose. Learn 1 editing trick. Engage with 3 creators. Reply to comments. Turn off non-essential notifications. Keep your home screen boring. And place your phone in another room for your first and last waking hour. Step back into the raw, unfiltered story of your own life. 8. Break free from approval addiction. Seeking feedback is healthy. Needing applause to breathe is not. The crowd's gaze flickers, here, then gone. You can't build a stable identity on a flicker. Living for approval is like wearing clothes that never quite fit, too tight in one place, too loose in another, always pulling at your seams. How much energy do you spend trying to be a slightly edited version of yourself for every room you enter? Freedom begins when you choose authenticity over applause. When you stop bending to every comment and trend. You stop disappearing in the very moment you're seen. You were not born to be a puppet for the crowd. You were born to be the author of your own stage. Practice. Define 3 personal values you refuse to trade for popularity. Then create a quiet scoreboard. You control. Did I act with integrity? Did I do the hard thing? Did I create with courage today? Let those be the metrics that decide if you're winning. 9. Release perfectionism. Perfection looks noble. It functions like paralysis. It delays launches, smothers experiments, and convinces you that one more tweak will finally make it safe to share. Meanwhile, someone else ships something simple, learns in public, and improves faster than you perfect in private. Progress loves motion, not immaculate drafts. The goal isn't to be flawless, the goal is to grow. Every misstep is tuition. Every blemish is proof you're in motion. You don't learn to steer by studying the road. You learn by driving on it. Practice. Use the 85% rule. Ship when it's solid, honest, and useful, even if it's not immaculate. Pair it with iterative honesty. Here's version 1.0. Tell me what would make it better. Perfection shrinks under the light of momentum. 10. Let go of unrealistic expectations. We often script a secret movie in our heads. Relationships will feel like a timeless romance. Work will unfold like an elegant commercial. Life will sparkle like a glossy highlight reel. Then real people make real mistakes. Real projects hit real snags. And the world refuses to follow our private screenplay. Disappointment isn't always proof you chose wrong. It's often proof your script was impossible. Peace begins the moment you trade fantasy for clarity. Acceptance isn't laziness. Acceptance is seeing the terrain accurately so you can move effectively across it. When you align with reality, you stop treating ordinary challenges like personal betrayals. Practice. Replace should with is. Instead of, this should be easier, say, this is hard, and I can handle hard. Rewrite the script. I expect obstacles. I expect delays. I expect myself to adapt. You'll feel your frustration lose its grip. 11. Avoid idle talk and rumor circles. Idle talk feels harmless. Just a little bonding. A little laughter. A little insider knowledge. But it erodes trust grain by grain. People may laugh with you in the moment, but they store a note. They trade in secrets. Over time, doors close quietly. Opportunities drift past you toward the person who can carry weight without leaking it. Your words build bridges or burn them. Every conversation is a seed. Plant trust. Reap respect. Plant poison. Breathe it first. The strongest people in any room are often the ones who decline the invitation to speculate, embellish, or expose. Practice. Try the gate of 3 before you speak. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If a story isn't yours to tell, lock it away. If a detail would humiliate, delete it. If silence would protect dignity, choose silence. 12. Eliminate procrastination, the silent thief. This one is the most dangerous precisely because it feels gentle. It doesn't crash in like rage or scandal. It whispers, tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year. Dreams rarely die in explosions. They fade through 1,000 tiny delays. You tell yourself you're resting. But there's a difference between restoration and avoidance. Avoidance drains you while convincing you that you're being kind to yourself. Procrastination is self-betrayal in a velvet robe. The door you plan to open, when the timing is better, is quietly being opened by someone else who's willing to learn on the job. Time is walking beside you whether you move or not. One day, you will look back, and the sharpest pain won't be your failures. It will be the projects you never started. The conversations you never had. The life you could have lived but didn't. You want freedom? Start now, not later, now. Practice. Use the 2-minute trigger. Begin with the smallest actionable step that takes 2 minutes or less. Open the document. Draft the headline. Lay out the first tool. Send the calendar invite. Momentum loves an open door. Pair it with time boxing. Set a 25-minute timer. Remove every distraction. And give yourself permission to stop when time's up. 9 times out of 10, you'll continue. Conclusion. Cut to become. These 12 aren't a checklist. They're 12 stones sitting in your path. If you don't remove them, you'll keep stubbing your toe, wondering why the road hurts. This is a roadmap of inner purification. Each time you let one go, you step closer to freedom, not the loud, showy kind, but the steady, spacious kind that makes breathing easier and decisions cleaner. Don't wait, don't whisper, tomorrow, and hand your life away in tiny installments. Choose one of the 12 and cut it out today. Remember, knowing changes nothing, cutting creates change. If this brought you value, tap like, subscribe to Stoicism Drive, and share this with someone who's ready to travel lighter. Drop a comment with the words, "I choose discipline, not chains." Tell me which one you're cutting first, and what you'll do with the space it frees.